morning, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube lesson on the food of Marrakesh. And I hope you are going to enjoy the wonderfully exotic flavors that I have in store for you today, because when I went to Marrakesh myself, I was bowled over by the exotic, spicy flavors that were presented to all of us at every space we went to. So I'm going to start off today, because I've got to bake it, my Moroccan orange cake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 4 jumbo eggs and my oil, 3/4 of a cup of oil, in my Kenwood mixer. And we're going to beat that up to it's nice and fluffy. Then what we're going to do is we are going to get an empty bowl and put in our almond flour, our sugar, and our cup of breadcrumbs, and our baking powder. How much baking powder was it again? A teaspoon. Teaspoon of baking powder. So in that goes. And what we're going to do is stir everything up so that the baking powder and the sugar and the almond flour and the breadcrumbs are all equally distributed. I'm just going to get rid of all these lumps and bumps. Okay. And is it fine now? Okay. So here's our mixture. Just one more bump. Get rid of. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put this on. Get it noisy. Get that going. Right, come and look in here at this mixture. So here's the dry ingredients all mixed together. And here's my oiled baking pan. And I put a sheet of baking paper in the base. Is my zested lemon and oranges. Okay, so we've done that, and we are going to now add the dry ingredients to this. Here's Porsche. Say hello, Porsche.
Hello.
To all the clients.
Hello, everybody.
I don't know whether you Mrs. Zuma or Porsche.
No.
With your book. Okay, so in this goes.
African lady.
Alright, and then in goes our zest. And pickle. Okay, that is perfect. So now I'm going to place it in my oiled baking tin. Some of the flour mixture got caught in the wrong place. Mutter, thank you. And here is the wonderful mixture. Do you want to just focus on it, Jono? Do you want to come in? Just making sure that all the things on the side are cleared up. And it's a very short cake, and it gets an orange syrup, which I've already made, and Porsche, is it boiling nicely? So for the orange syrup, which we're going to pour over it once the cake is cooked and it's still warm, is a mixture of sugar, orange juice and lemon juice. And I've put in some cinnamon sticks, some cloves, and a few star anise. And I'm going to pour that over the cake when we are finished. You just taste it. Nothing like dough. So nice. Okay, So now that is going to go into my 180 oven and bake for 45 to 60 minutes. That, by all accounts, is the easiest cake on this earth. And what's so nice is it's not a big chiffon cake, it's a flattish cake that is very moist and dense. And then if you just have a little look in here, in there is my orange syrup with all those whole spices inside, which I'm going to just leave on the side until the cake is baked. So that is as simple as it gets, and I would imagine that you could bake it the day before, because it's a dense cake, so it's not going to get stale, and it's got that wonderful scented orange syrup in it, so it's going to stay wonderful and moist. So that is the Moroccan orange cake. Now we are going to move on to our braised harissa eggplant with chickpeas. It's like a vegetarian stew. I hate to use that word, actually just say casserole, or a braise as they say in America. And it's actually a wonderful accompaniment to any dish that you have. It's a vegetable dish, okay? We're going to start by cutting up our raw aubergine into little cubes, salting them, leaving them in a colander in your sink for an hour at least, because it leaches out all the bitterness. Even though aubergines aren't as bitter as they used to be, I don't know whether you've noticed, there are far fewer pips in aubergines than in days gone by, and the pips is where the bitterness is. But what the salting also does is it changes the texture of the aubergine, and obviously it improves it and makes it more silky and more delicious. Okay, so once you have drained your aubergines, what you're going to do next is wash them down, wash all the salt off, and pat them dry, and you're going to fry them in vegetable oil or olive oil. I like frying them in vegetable oil until you have golden aubergine cubes like that. Then what you're going to do is you are going to chop up your onion into small dice, and you're going to place it in a big pot, and you're going to go cook. And then what we're going to do, once the onion is soft, we're going to add our chili paste. Now, I normally have red chilies when I'm around and about and cooking a lot of things, but I find that the Stafford's chili paste is such a fantastic staple in the kitchen, because it doesn't go off. It's obviously got so many preservatives in, but anyway, c'est la vie, maybe it'll preserve us. And you often buy a whole bunch of chili and you only use one chili and the rest go rotten in your fridge. So that's why I always have this on hand. And I also find that at Woolies they've got those little squares, plastic containers of chili, garlic and ginger. To buy that is also wise, because it's got the amount of chili and ginger you need, so you don't waste anything. Okay, so in here we're cooking down our onion and our chili, and just remember that braising down and caramelizing the onions and the garlic at this stage is very, very important for the overall flavor of the dish. Okay, so after that we are going to add our garlic. Did you add garlic, Pete?
Yes.
Oh, you've already added garlic. Okay, and then we're going to add our cumin. And our coriander powder. Cumin is a very, very well used spice in Moroccan cuisine. It's a wonderfully fragrant spice. Cook. And then we're going to add our chickpeas. Once we've done this. Okay, so there's that fragrance. Porsche,
Yeah.
are you having a good old sniff? Let's put some salt in. And we're going to add our chickpeas, our tin of grained chickpeas. And we're going to coat the chickpeas in all those wonderful spices. When you fry your spices at the beginning of your dish, you do your onion, then you do your garlic and chili, and then you do your spices. What happens is when you heat your spices, the oils that give the spices their flavor are released, and that is what gives the flavor to the dish. So we've done all that, we've ticked all the boxes, and now we're going to add our tomatoes, tin of chopped tomatoes. And stir, stir, stir. And how much stock? Can you just see here? 1 cup. Okay. So let me just, I'll use this. Stir this. Stock. 1 cup of stock. I'd say that's a cup. And we're going to get one of those lids. Where they here. And let this just slowly cook down and get thick and unctuous. And what we're also going to add in is a little bit of honey, which is in front of you, Pete. Because whenever you cook tomatoes, thanks Mama, whenever you cook tomatoes, they get a little bit sour. So I always add in a little bit of honey or a little bit of sugar. Obviously, honey gives it a wonderful flavor. Just a little bit, just to take that edge off the bitterness and to smooth the flavors. Okay, so let that cook down a bit. Nice. Trying to work out whether it's hot. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to add the tomatoes and the stock. We've done that. And we're going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes, okay? Then we're going to add our eggplant back into the pot and our lemon juice. Obviously, you know me with my sweet and my sour. And a little bit more salt. And I'm going to add my aubergine. Oopsie. And just coat everything and let the tomato cook down with this wonderful silken aubergine. And what we'll do towards the end of the cooking time, I'll add some coriander and parsley in just for extra flavor. But let that just cook slowly. So I'm going to put that on the side. So that is the wonderful harissa tagine. But because we haven't got a tagine, we're not calling it a tagine, okay? Because a tagine is a type of pot that's got a lid that goes into a pointed shape, and the things steam inside it. Okay, so we are going to let that cook along. You can leave these here, Porsche, because we're going to use them again. And we are now going to move on to recipe number 2. So what this is our couscous with chickpeas. Now, as you know, couscous is a North African grain, and it's very versatile because you can add as much flavor to it and any flavor to it as you like, in fact. So what we're going to do, we are going to saute our onion. Because it's so boring to saute onions, I've done them at the back already, okay? So I've actually used a red onion. And what I need you to remember at all times is that couscous tastes like cardboard. It's got absolutely no flavor. So you have to flavor it either with the vegetables you put on top, you know, the stew or tagine you put on top, or you've got to really flavor it up extensively. And when I make a couscous salad, for example, not related to Moroccan cooking at all, I add a lot of oil and olive oil and vinegar and salt and black pepper, because that starts the flavoring process, okay? So what we're going to do, into this, we're going to add our ginger, and our garlic. And we are going to let that cook down. And then we are going to add this Moroccan spice, which is called Ras Al Hanout, or El Hanout actually. Ras El Hanout, which this is from Nobu, I think, or Eat Art. I don't know where it's from. No, it's made in South Africa. But I know that you can get Ras Al Hanout anywhere. And it's a spice blend. Very, very fragrant. Okay? So into that, we are going to add our smoked paprika, our Ras El Hanout, and our cumin. And our salt and pepper. So let that garlic and ginger get a little bit more cooked, because as I always emphasize, the caramelization of these base foundations of any dish are very, very important. And you see how the sugars are making it stick, Porsche? Okay, so 2 teaspoons, okay, salt and pepper. Let's go salt and pepper, because the salt makes it not so sticky. Okay, all right. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to add my 2 teaspoons of Ras Al Hanout. 1, 2, and obviously, once again, the oils from the spices are going to get released. Shall we just finish all the ginger? Yeah. Just because we can. It's a lot of ginger, but I love ginger. Okay? Tastes delicious. Some smoked paprika. How much is the smoked paprika? Half a teaspoon. Okay, you won't go too hot. Okay. Then we are going to add our cumin, teaspoon of ground cumin, and the fragrance. You can't smell this, but the fragrance is unbelievable, and it's getting all caramelized and sticky and delicious. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we are going to add our stock, which is 1 1/4 cups of stock. Okay, so here it is. And into that, we're going to add our spinach and our couscous. And this wonderful, fragrant broth we've got here with all the spices. This is a cup. Is going to cook the couscous. Okay, so I'm going to add to that my baby spinach, which looks like a hell of a lot of spinach, and obviously this is going to cook down with heat. It's on high, it's on full volume there, and I'm going to let the couscous absorb the hot water. So what you normally do with couscous is that you put 1 cup of couscous in a dish, and then you add 2 cups of hot water, 2 cups of broth, 2 cups of stock, whatever you want to call it. And you just let the couscous absorb the liquid, and that's how it gets soft. So this is exactly what we're going to do. So we're just going to let the heat get a little bit higher in here, just so that the actual spinach gets cooked. And then we are going to garnish that with slivered almonds, and I've got a little box of those micro herbs, and into that I'm going to put in my herbs. I've got a whole bunch of herbs, and I bought this box of baby micro herbs from Woolies, which we're going to use to decorate the top. Okay, so in here is my cut up Turkish apricots, my chickpeas, which we can put in Porsche. So let's put everything in here. I think we're just about good. Okay, it's steaming. Oh, that's what we want. Okay, so in go my chickpeas. And you'll find in Moroccan cuisine, there's a lot of sweet with savory. Like their chicken pastilla is when I first had it when I arrived in Morocco, it is a chicken pie with icing sugar on top. I mean, it's a very strange flavor mix. These are Turkish apricots, but they use a lot of apricots and preserved lemons, which aren't so sweet, but in their cooking. Okay, and into that I'm going to put some chopped chives, might as well use it all, some chopped spring onions. I'm basically just using whatever's in my fridge, and this is parsley. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to first of all give us a little taste. Have a little taste, Porsche. Got a bite. That ras al hanout and that smoked paprika have done their trick. Nice, eh?
Nice.
Okay, so let's put it here, Porsche. And we by mistake made this couscous separately. It doesn't matter because we got lots of people going to be eating this today.
Yeah.
So we'll just add it to it. So you can just mix it all together because my videographer is definitely going to be having some for dinner, as are my children. Right. So delicious. So this is very much, you can actually take this wooden spoon, Porsche. This is very much a sweet and sour dish because the Turkish apricots are wonderfully sweet and sour. So I'm just mixing this in. So if you want to make it for a slightly bigger crowd, just make another cup of couscous and you can add it in, like I have. Certainly is not changing much at all. It's probably just diluting the chili a bit, which it's also exacerbated by the ginger, because the ginger, and you have a little taste. So nice. I cannot tell you. Right, creamy fragrant. So, that, guys, is our Moroccan couscous. You can put in there, Porsche, with chickpeas. And onto that, we're going to put these two things, Porsche, the slivered almonds and my micro herbs when we finish it off. That's coriander. And then here are these fantastic little herblets, are the most beautiful things on earth, and some almonds. How perfect does that look?
Beautiful.
Oh, looks stunning, hey? So, moving along, this is coriander. Now, if you don't like coriander, lots of people hate coriander. I absolutely love it. My husband doesn't like it. But you can just use flat leaf parsley. So, I'm just folding this in because obviously it gives a flavour as well as a look. So this is nearly thickening up. I'm going to leave it for a few more minutes and then that'll be done. Okay, so that is our braise. So guys, for these Moroccan chicken thighs, I bought from Woolies the thighs that have skin on and bone in, because obviously if they are got bone in, they'll be more delicious and they are more succulent. I don't normally like keeping the skin on, because when you put a sauce over it, your crispy skin becomes soft. So I'm going to make a call when I've seen how it pans out when it's finished cooking. If the skins are not crispy and are all soft and soggy and revolting, you just pull them off because they're just on the top, okay? Because you don't want soft skin in there at any cost. So what you're going to do, you are going to put your chicken thighs raw in a bowl, and you are going to pour over a spice blend, which consists of cumin, coriander, turmeric, sweet paprika, cayenne pepper, cinnamon, chili flakes, salt and pepper. And you're going to let that sort of rub on the skin and all over the chicken, upside and down, up and down, in and out. And then you are going to gently fry off the chicken just to caramelize the outside, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your oven on 200 degrees, and you are going to, after you finish frying it, your oven's on, you are then going to add your onions, then your carrot and your garlic. Okay. And the carrots are cubed, the onions cubed, and obviously the garlic's smashed. And you want to fry with some cumin powder, some paprika. Did you put it in? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Did you put it in already? Okay. Oh, I wondered why it's dark. Okay, so you've done that. So it's already got the cumin in it and the paprika.
Yeah.
And obviously, the carrots won't be fully cooked yet, because carrots are like potatoes, they take a long time to cook. But they will cook in the oven when you are baking and cooking the inside of the chicken. So when you fry your chicken pieces, you're caramelizing the outside, but you're not 100% cooking the whole chicken right through. And you know, as you know, chicken has to be cooked through. So when you cover it in the sauce, that's when it'll cook the inside of the chicken, because it has to be well done, all right? So we are then going to add into this our lemon juice, which is, let me just see the measurement here. Okay, 1 lemon juiced. I'd say that's it. I'm going to add in a little bit of honey, because we're adding our tomatoes. Okay, so once again you're going to have that wonderful sweet and sour flavor. And into that I'm going to add my chicken broth, which is, let me see how much it is, a cup. Give it a nice stir. Add the tomatoes. You can actually get cartons of chicken stock and vegetable stock at Woolies now, which makes life a hell of a lot easier. You don't have to do all the stirring and everything. It's already all liquid. It's like a liquid fruit box. And obviously it's organic, which makes it even better. Just to squash these spicy. No, they don't melt in so quickly. Irritating. Okay. All right, so that's. Let me get some salt, some pepper, and what I've got here is I've got sliced lemons. which I actually think I'm going to cut in half again. So let me just get a little scatter key, because our dish is quite small. So I'm going to put the halved lemons around my chicken. That's the cake. So done. Okay. Okay, and then here I've got some green olives, which I'm going to throw around as well. And then here, I actually think, Peter, I'm going to have some more olives. These are wonderful big olives. They're those giant green olives that I actually bought from Super Sconto in one of those enormous big tins. And I'm also going to scatter around, so you can see that the sweet and sour theme doesn't end. My sweet cut up figs, dried figs, my lemons, and into that I'm going to add my chopped parsley and my chopped coriander. My chopped flat leaf parsley, and we're going to check the flavouring in a second. And then what we're going to do, guys, we are going to pour, when it starts boiling, this wonderfully unctuous, I think it's done, Paul, let's switch that off. This wonderfully unctuous tomato-y sauce on top of this, and obviously the liquid is going to bake the chicken and is going to be completely delicious. But I'm adding a few more, not too many, that's fine I think, yeah. Not too many olives, but just a few just to add to the equation. It's got a stem on it still. Right. So that is as easy as that gets, okay? Now what we can do now is we can take that green dish. Where did you put that green dish, Porsche?
Yeah, there next to the...
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Here's this wonderful green bowl. And into this, I'm going to add me delicious braise of aubergine. Oops. I've got to be very strong to be able to pick this up. How stunning is this? And you can have some micro herbs on top. Perfection on toast. A little bit of a cracked black pepper. Thank you. It's quite hot. Now I'm going to turn it on a coke tonight. That paprika and cayenne got a little bit of a bite. So how delicious is that braise? And you can eat that with rice, with plain couscous, with mashed potato, with anything you like. Here's our cake, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of holes in here so that the wonderful sugar syrup that I've made can sink into the cake. And this you can eat with ice cream, with yogurt, plain thick Greek yogurt, and that's all gone in. So I'm going to let this get a bit cool before I decant it. Too delish for speech. And I'm actually going to leave it, Porsche, let's just sit here. I'm going to let it get cool first.
Yeah.
I'm going to serve it with all of that on top because it makes it look exotic. Now, this what's happening here. Okay, so here is our wonderful sauce, which is extremely heavy. Now hold on, push. I'm going to be very... Okay. And as I say, guys, if you find that the chicken skins are a bit wobbly, which I am suspecting they're going to be, then just take off the skins. You know, normally you can find skinless chicken thighs at Woolies, but when you want them badly, you can't, which is extremely irritating. Okay, so that's one. Okay, Mats, and I can just pour. Okay, stunning. So, this braise is going to go into the oven, and let's just put it in front. Just clean here. The other oven's on heat. And let that cook for 30 minutes. And then we'll put on top of that our chopped coriander or flat leaf parsley. Okay, so what I've done here is I've got a head of cauliflower and I covered it, florets, broke it into florets. I covered them in this harissa delight. Okay, and these all in here. Okay, so I covered my cauliflower in the harissa paste and I baked it at 180 for 15-20 minutes. Doesn't take a long time to cook. Cooled it down. And now I'm going to make the dressing, which consists of tahina, lemon juice, and honey, and salt and pepper, and parsley for garnish. Okay, so in goes my tahina, or tahina, however you want to say it. You can get this at any greengrocer on this planet. It's basically sesame paste. Okay, so that's the end of that. Then into that I'm going to temper, put in the lemon juice and my honey. In winter, honey gets very hard, crystallizes, as you well know. Mati, can you give me some salt in here?
Yes. It's lovely for you to balance the dish.
Okay. Right. So in goes my salt. Take this away. And I'm now going to emulsify this wonderful dressing. Now you'll find when you mix up a tahina dressing and you put lemon juice in it, it gets a bit thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a drop or two of water, like a tablespoon or two of water, just to make it more the consistency of pouring cream. But let me just taste and see what it tastes like. Okay, can I have 1 tablespoon of water, please? Asserblief. I'm going to put a drop more lemon and a drop more honey. I love the flavours of sweet and sour, so I can't get enough of them. 1 tablespoon of water, and then mix. Now you can see that I've actually put it on a wet cloth on my counter, because then I can emulsify it and it won't go flying around. The bowl won't go flying around. Okay, let me taste now. So delicious. Words fail me. Words fail me. Okay, so this goes over here. I'm putting it all on because I can. And onto that, I'm going to put my cilantro, otherwise known as coriander. Black pepper, ground on top. And how perfect is that? Jono, go in close, because it's so delicious. Now the last thing we're going to do is decant the cake. Still a bit hot for the job, but we've got places to go and people to see. Man can't wait for a cake. How perfect is that? I'm not going to take it off the base because I'm scared, but I think I'm going to put a little bit of icing sugar on top. What I always do in winter is an orange salad. I get the red oranges, the kara oranges, whatever they're called, and the normal red oranges, and I make an orange salad. And then I make a sugar syrup with star anise, cinnamon, and cloves, and I pour that into the salad. So that's quite a nice idea to serve this with. Just make an orange salad. Porsche, we peel the orange. So you cut the base off the top and the bottom, and then peel the skin off, so all the pits off, and then you can do slices, and then you make the sugar syrup, which is 1 cup of water to half a cup of sugar. So that's how you work it, and you just boil it up with these wonderful spices. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to pick up these wonderful hard spices. So just make sure that none of your friends have got false teeth, because if they bite into one of these, they might lose their fangs. Anyway, so just tell your mother-in-law and your auntie that they mustn't eat the wood, i.e. the star anise and the cinnamon and the cloves, because they could lose their little fanglets. Anyway, how delicious is this?